It's April 18th. Welcome to yes-to-hell-with.com. If you are new to Yes to Hell With and you would like a number of the free reports that are available, go ahead and go to yes-to-hell-with.com and sign up for free. Those reports are emailed daily to new members. There are approximately probably some 8 to 10 reports on any number of topics, so help yourself. Some of you have emailed with questions about statute.Understanding.com and the Statement of Understanding and the Good Faith Belief Program. If you have queries and you want to know more, send an email to info@yes-to-hell-with.com and you'll get a response. Now, I want to address a comment by a non-follower by the name of Mr. Wayne. I do not know the purpose of Mr. Wayne or why he chooses to comment on this platform, but let me address this message to him because it applies to all of us. He is operating with a great degree of presumptive arrogance, and it reflects how the federal government and state governments operate. Mr. Wayne, you are missing the point because you are treating these videos on first principles as though they were law school lectures. I don't know if you're an attorney, but perhaps that is your motivation. But these videos are not law school lectures. These videos were made for ordinary Americans, people who have never read a Supreme Court case, never studied constitutional limits, and have spent their lives being told one thing, and that is, do not ask questions, just obey. And that is in the United States of America, Mr. Wayne. That's context. The purpose of the Liberty Dialogues is not to teach people that government is always wrong. The purpose is to teach people that government is not automatically right. You say the answer is the Constitution, statutes, and judicial decisions. Well, that's fine. Then people have every right to ask, what part of the Constitution, which statute, which regulation, which case, and what are the limits? As I discussed with the recent decision by the Fifth Circuit, the courts acknowledged making a mistake for 158 years. So this is not fantasy. This is the beginning of legal analysis for the average ordinary American. The problem is that Americans encounter officials in hundreds of thousands of places across this fruited plain every day. Police officers, code enforcement, tax agencies, judges, clerks, administrative boards, licensing departments. And far too often those officials do not stay within the actual borders of the law, the ordinance, the regulation, or even the court ruling they claim to enforce. Instead, they presume, much like you. They expand, much like you. They improvise. They act as though their opinion or office policy is the law, much like you, Mr. Wayne. You have yet to even ask a question of me about my approach or my content. A police officer claims authority the statute does not grant. An agency creates rules that do not exist. A judge ignores the actual limits of a law in rules according to preference politics or convenience. And yes, courts do this too. Courts have often been wrong. They upheld segregation. They upheld internment. They have expanded government power far beyond what earlier generations believed possible. And later courts have reversed them, Mr. Wayne. So please do not pretend that asking questions is somehow improper. If courts can question prior courts, then people can question officials. The Liberty Dialogues framework is simple, and it's helping people all across the world. Authority, jurisdiction, status, standing, obligation, enforcement, always under the umbrella of presumption, and often fraudulent presumption. Most of the modern system begins at the end with enforcement and assumes that all the earlier questions have already been answered when they have yet to be asked. The Liberty Dialogues say no. Let's ask the questions that should come first. By what authority? What are the limits? To whom does it apply? And has the official exceeded those limits? That is not radical. That is what a free people are supposed to do. What is most revealing about your criticism is the tone. Again, you don't ask questions. You do not seek clarification. You simply walk into the lesson intended for ordinary people and announce what is wrong. The approach is flawed. The context is incorrect. Let me show you the way. That reflects a kind of presumptive arrogance I mentioned earlier. The same arrogance many Americans encounter every day from officials who assume that because they wear a badge, hold an office, or sit on a bench, they no longer need to explain themselves. The video is not for appellate judges. It is not for law professors. And it is not for people who believe that authority never has to justify itself. It is for ordinary Americans who need to understand one simple truth. Government in America is supposed to be limited. Officials are supposed to stay within those limits. And the people have every right to ask where those limits come from and where they end. Because the real problem in America is not that too many people ask questions. The real problem is that too few do, just like you. Mr. Wayne, are you an attorney? That's a question. Now, if you're an attorney, then perhaps you should take this up with attorneys, as I speak to regular folk who want to understand why the system is so damn complicated, excessive, and often corrupt. And as always, may truth reign supreme.